Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Copilot Learning Hub. Look, a person. You've said you want more in-person episodes, so I have corralled my very good friend from a long time ago, Elif Onalan, to come in and do a live spiel for all of you about a topic that is near and dear to all of us, which is biz chat at work. Okay, and all of you are asking, what is biz chat at work? I'm so glad you asked, because Elif is here to tell us all of it.
Yes, very happily. Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Elif Onalan. I run the BizChat customer success team. We do a lot of direct and indirect customer engagements and help them on their journey through BizChat web and work. And today's conversation is going to be scoped about BizChat work scope.
So Elif and her team deal with all of you out there who are dealing with BizChat at work. So they look at your feedback, your comments, listen to all of your questions, concerns, feedback, product requests, feature requests. And their entire work item list is based on requests from you. They're not randomly making up features. They're looking at the top asks and requests from you. And at the end of this episode, she's going to give you a preview of 3 very cool things that you have asked for that her team has implemented. So let's start with, what exactly is BizChat, right?
I love that. That's such a great question. And before I want to talk about what, I want to talk about the why. I love starting with why.
Yeah.
So we all know that when Gen AI technology came in, it was one of the fastest technology to reach 100 million. When we looked back, mobile phone, it took 16 years. Even Facebook was just 4.5 years. So when you think about how ChatGPT was only 3 months to reach 100 million, we know that we're in the midst of a transformational technology.
That's right.
And Microsoft released a work trend index analysis after a year of living with AI. And we surveyed more than 31,000 people over 31 countries. And there were 3 findings that we reached to.
Oh, by the way, so pause. If you haven't seen the Work Trend Index, go get it. It's published on LinkedIn. It's published anywhere. It's probably re-updated twice a year, something like that. But it's actually fascinating because it's not just about Microsoft technology. It's about people at work and some of the things that we are learning as we survey large groups of people across the world. And some of these are very interesting to me. I always think, okay, whatever, Work Trend Index, but just the whole study about power users was very interesting in this latest one. It's all about how power users, people and companies, it's not their job to be AI experts, but they figure out the intersection between AI and their job, and they're emerging as this new category of job called a power user. So I found that very interesting. Check out the Work Trend Index. Sorry.
Yeah, no, this was great. And you set this up. Employees do want AI at work, and that's the first thing that we found out. And the power of the AI user, they are what shapes the new way of work at the end of the day. And the last but not least, AI will raise the bar in the companies, and it'll break the career ceiling. That's how a lot of employees feel like. So we know that more than 68% of people struggle with the pace and volume of work, and I'm one of them.
Yes.
And we are realizing that 78% of people are bringing their own AI tools at work.
Wow.
Is this safe?
78% of people are bringing their own AI tools. That's like 78% of you bring your own laptop in off the street, and without getting it, tenanted by your IT department, you're just doing your work. That would be wild, actually.
No, and this is exactly why some large corporations discouraged and even blocked employees from using AI tools at work.
Right.
And this is exactly where Microsoft 365 Copilot comes in.
There you go.
We are your AI assistant for work, which connects seamlessly to your existing apps and data, understands your work context with enterprise-grade security, privacy, and compliance you can trust.
Yes, that's right. Because you get Microsoft products, enterprise guardrails, blah, blah, blah. You already know about this. And you get to get the AI tool that you're dying to use into the enterprise guardrails, so you're not risking, all the disasters that happen that we read about in the news all the time. 78% though, that is a huge number.
Yeah.
Everyone says, oh, no one's using AI. We're like, you think? I don't think so. The fact that 78% of people in companies, I'm surprised it's not higher in certain sectors. Like, students, it's like 99.9%. Of people in education.
There is a generational study that they did, so they classified into different generations, and even when you look at different gens, even boomers, more than 70% of them have tried and brought their own AI tools at work.
So all of those things we hear about only the youths use it, it's just not true.
No.
Right? Data shows. I found that very interesting.
Yeah. So Copilot, with Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot, you're going to have access to powerful AI models that are built on GPT-4o and DALL-E for images. And we are transparent. We will provide you with citations and prompt responses, and the responses will be sourced with the up-to-date information from the web. And last but not least, and this is the most important, your business data is protected. When you log in with eventID, your chat prompts and responses and your entire company tenant data is not going to be used to train the large language models, and there's no eyes-on access.
Yep. I don't see your data, just so you know. No, we don't even see our own data. Whenever anyone says, "Oh, can anyone at Microsoft see our data?" I can't even see beyond my personal data. So no.
No. And this is where I'd like to dive in a little bit into the architecture and what is underneath the hood that ensures that we do not have access to data. So I would like to go through some of the flows with you. So first of all, when you submit your prompt, when we receive your prompt, the first thing we do is we ground your prompt in Microsoft Graph. This is where your context and content lives. This is your emails, files, meetings, chats, calendars, and contacts. And there's optional web and other services for grounding as well. After grounding is done, we send the modified prompt into the LLM. Over here, there's two things that I would like to address. The very first thing is that this is a private Azure OpenAI instance maintained by Microsoft. And OpenAI has no access to the data or the model. The second thing I want to reiterate is that prompts, responses, and grounding data are not used to train the foundation models. Now, when the LLM produces a response, we do responsible AI checks. So our AI is performed on input prompt and output results. And as soon as we get the results, LLM receives the response and sends it back to Microsoft Graph. And this is the most important bit. This is where the post-processing happens with compliance and purview. And this is why we are very proud to be calling ourselves fully enterprise compliant.
Okay, so what's important here is all of this compliance, purview, graph grounding doesn't only happen in the input. It also happens with the output.
Absolutely.
So I like that the responsible AI angle, like checking for privacy, security, fairness, et cetera, happens with the input prompt. If the input prompt is no good, we're like, toss that out and be like, sorry, can't help you, go home. Right? And that's happened to me by accident.
Yeah.
Right? I said, this is not what I wanted to type. Damn you, autocorrect. No. And then when we get the response, it doesn't just go to the user. There's a whole bunch of layers of security and guardrails, basic guardrail things that it goes through, all depending on things that are good for the enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. That's really helpful because now you as a IT admin or IT person don't need to sit there and figure out responsible AI for your business. Because you know what's less fun? Figuring out those 6 aspects of responsible AI and what they mean for your business and having to become an expert in security, privacy, fairness, transparency, accountability, et cetera. So I love that it's a part of the output as well. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. This is honestly the magic sauce. And this is I'm very proud to say, this is actually public on Microsoft Learn. So if you go to Microsoft Learn, you will be able to have access to this architecture diagram and read all the other supplementary information along with it. Another thing that I'd like to touch base on is as you use your prompts and responses, and sometimes you hit a snag.
Yes. Oh, I did. Yeah.
What happens when you do hit a snag? What do you do, Donna?
Okay, so I am big on submitting feedback. Okay, I used to run a Windows Insider program. The way Windows gets better is with your feedback. I used to have people ask me this question: how come you, Microsoft, can't tell which apps of ours are going to break with the Windows update? And my answer to them is, if I knew every app you have installed and every configuration you have and how your data is secured and whatnot, you have new problems, right? You don't want us to know that. The reason you all have these amazing, powerful jobs is that you are the only person, you and your colleagues are the only people in the world who understand your apps, your data, your ecosystem, your infrastructure, your layout. And you're the only ones who have business knowing that. So the only way we can help you is if you submit feedback. If you don't submit feedback, we have no idea that, hey, this prompt didn't work for you. We have no idea that this answer is completely wrong. We have no idea of saying like, hey, this seems like sketchy dealings and it's pointing to some wrong resource. We have no idea because there's no way we can do all of the testing, nor should we.
No,
right?
No. Feedback really is the best part of the entire life cycle of the product. This is where we don't just troubleshoot your issues, but also hear your suggestions and look at what really matters to you. This is where we see when you feel emotional about, oh my God, this was such a great response. And we get so many thumbs ups. Yes. We call them thumbs ups.
I love that.
We get so many thumbs ups that we were actually surprised and we thought there was a data error when we looked at the amount of thumbs ups that we received in the product. Because oftentimes when you use a product, you don't spend a lot of time and energy to compliment the product, compliment the assistant that you have. But you spend a lot of your time on the rages. So we were expecting like more than 90% thumbs downs, for instance. But no, the thumbs up rate, which we track very closely, is very close, hand in hand. The thumbs up and thumbs downs are trending very closely.
How is that possible? Windows Insiders, you never did that for me. I never got good comments on Windows. Never got good comments. But I think because it's a surprise and delight. Yeah. Right? Yeah. People expect their operating system to work all the time when it doesn't bad. But when you get a delightful experience with AI, it's like, wow, I didn't know AI could do this, right? Very rarely do we say, I didn't know my operating system or this random app could do this. You know what it can do. Yeah. But AI has that delightful factor where it's like, I had no idea. And AI gets better every day. So I think people are constantly delighted and shocked and surprised in a good way that, hey, this could happen. I send thumbs ups all the time personally, but I also send thumbs downs and saying like, why didn't I get a response? Why is the service not up right now? Or I asked for a table, this, my friend, not a table, right? Yeah.
The amount of times I've used Copilot in my day-to-day life and it has saved me a lot of time and energy was unbelievable. And I was curious. I looked at my own thumbs up and thumbs down rating. And even though I work on the product and I try and find more of the error cases and whatnot, and I'm on the latest build, even my own thumbs up, thumbs down was like surprisingly higher than my critical self was assuming.
And she is her own worst critic, just that is fact. We all are. We're way more critical of our work than we are complimentary of it because we're picky. We're so picky.
Yes.
But okay, I have to tell you, as a result of feedback that you all have sent, thank you and good job, this beautiful team are working on 3 really interesting sets of features. Do you want to share that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is the part where we were talking about how feedback is going to help shape the product and not just allow you to troubleshoot issues. And all the information about the feedback and what we do with your data is already in the form itself. The moment you hit the thumbs down, you will see what we do with your data. It's only a very small number of individuals that have gone through extensive checks, background checks, that only has access to the feedback data too. So not everybody can, and Microsoft has access to data. So just like how we make a lot of trust and enterprise promises, we make a lot of promises on the feedback data that you submit. So it is very crucial that you do submit that data. And with the feedback data that you have so far submitted, I am very excited to talk about some of the features coming up.
Didn't some ginormous company recently say they submitted feedback and they have a ton of private data?
I will be very proudly admitting that today BlackRock has submitted an article, and in there they're talking about how they use Copilot in their day-to-day lives, how through the thumbs up, thumbs down feedback submission process that they've enabled for their entire tenant is how they were able to help Copilot, Microsoft, and themselves build a really nice version of Copilot right now that you see is part of it is because of the feedback that was submitted with BlackRock.
Okay, so if BlackRock can submit feedback, you can submit feedback. Trust us on this. And again, like Elif is saying, it is a tiny group of people who look at feedback. It is not me and like random people I recruit off the street. No, it's vetted. It's like any sort of tiny council, like who do our digital safety, who do our accessibility, who look at like specific feedback for specific cases, right? And they're not there to go snoop on your business or steal your recipes. They don't actually care because they're software engineers. They're there to figure out what we can do to code to make your AI results better, right? Yeah. Okay, so what have you done with the feedback? I want to know.
Yeah. One of my very favorite features, I will tell you. I am not a native speaker, and I have huge writer's block and I have difficulty expressing my thoughts.
We all have that issue, just so you know, native speaker or not. That's just fact.
So oftentimes I type my prompt as if I'm talking to an assistant, which is exactly how to make best use of Copilot is to write your prompt as if you're talking to your personal assistant. So I write my prompt and I'm like, I wonder how it's going to perform. And we have built this fantastic new feature called prompt rewrite, where, let me see, after you type your prompt, you're going to be able to hit a single button and it's going to be able to rewrite your prompt for you. Now, the UX and everything is going to look different when it's released. This is not going to be releasing for a number of months, and this is in progress. But this is exactly why Donna dragged me here, is to show some insider features. Did you see that, how the prompt was elaborated?
Yeah, because you wrote something very simple, like do blah. And then this was able to do the personal assistant thing and say, what Elif means is blah, 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 blah. And it writes in the language of AI, which is great because I don't want to learn the language of AI. That's the point of natural language. I want to speak in natural language. And I think it's great because it adds like the context, it adds like a bunch of other things to help the LLM do the graph grounding and all of the stuff that you just showed us in a much better way, so you get better answers. I think that's very clever.
No, this is entirely optimized to make the response look much better, because the more elaborate you are when you're talking to your AI assistant, the better. But yes, you do not want to spend time writing an entire paragraph of instructions. We know that there's a lot of anxiety, emotional anxiety that people have when they put their cursor in the input box and they start typing. You're like,
blank slate problem. Blank slate
Exactly.
problem.
So,
and all of you have said, I don't want to spend my life learning to prompt. That is not my job. My job is to be a lawyer, a finance person, ballroom dancer. It is not to be a prompt engineer. So this thing does your prompt engineering for you. Yay.
Yay. Another thing that we're very excited about is prompt scheduling, saving, and sharing.
I love this.
So I'll show you the demo, and this is walking you through how prompt saving and sharing flows are going to look like. And this is, again, just work in progress, and the ultimate user experience is not going to look like this. I'm really showing you under the hood features that we're working as we're working on them.
Thank you, Elif.
And yes, this is also going to be available in like months time frame. Another thing that while it's not being actively shown here, is called prompt scheduling. You'll be able to have chance to schedule your prompts to execute at certain times of day. So you can do it daily, weekly, monthly, so that when you come into work, say on a Monday morning, you can say, catch me up on all the emails that I had last week, or give me a summary of that meeting that I missed. And you'll be able to schedule those prompts to run in a recurring fashion. So those are the 3 features that we're very excited.
I love that. What I love is the prompt scheduling. Oh my gosh. Because Monday morning, it's tell me what meetings I need to prep a slide deck for, because those are the ones I better do. And there's ones like, tell me what I owe stuff for, tell me what meetings I need to make a slide deck for, tell me when I need to book travel for that conference that's next week and I forgot to book travel. So it's the personal assistanting first thing in the morning, the devil wears Prada scenario that I kind of love. And I just think this is I don't want to say the word obvious, it's such a beautifully useful scenario.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, please rerun this prompt every Monday. It's not like every Monday I don't have work. I don't have a new job every Monday. Yes, please run the same prompt. And please remember, if I can schedule meetings reoccurring, why wouldn't I schedule prompts reoccurring? Exactly. I love that.
Yeah. Hopefully this will save a lot of people time and energy.
And that feedback's coming from you all. Keep sending feedback.
Last, and this is again one of the top asks for features, both in my direct interactions with customers and also from feedback, is being able to ground Copilot in emails from subfolders.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. We are finding that a lot of people have millions and millions of subfolders. And
I would never do such a thing. Why? I feel attacked, at this. Yes, I have 17,000 unread emails, most of them in folders marked read soon.
Read in a day, read in a week, read in a month.
Read this week. Relevant to you, not relevant to you. Oh.
Mine is do soon, do now, do later. Yeah, that's how.
How's do later going in?
Oh, yeah. I know. It's more than 17,000. Yeah. So
I love
this is sort of wrapping up. These are all the features that we have that are working on. I know that we've just been through the announcements that have been very exciting, and you've seen some wonderful features.
Yeah.
And these are going to be coming in the upcoming months, and we already published some of these in the blog post too earlier this year.
I love this. I love that you wrap this up on why Copilot M365. What are some of the things we've done? How does it work? here's what your feedback has gotten you. So thank you so much for coming here. And thank you for educating us on BizChat at work, because I think a lot of people don't quite know how it works. They vaguely know. They're like, there's an LLM in there somewhere and something with the graph. But I don't think everyone quite understands, like, what is the graph? What is RAI? What is Purview? And all of these things. So this has been a very educational experience. And don't you worry, I am going to drag Elif back to come and explain BizChat on the web in a future episode. Thank you so much for being here. This has been such a joy.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Likewise.
everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Copilot Learning Hub.